African Americans in particular, right? Because they used Dred Scott, or the burying of Dred Scott, to uphold Wong Kim Ark. We're all in this together. What's interesting is the vote on whether or not, there's like two parts of this. One was, does President Trump, through executive power, can he reverse the Constitution? Of course he can't. Of course he thinks he can. He can't. And that was a 6-3 vote for the good guys. 6, there was Kavanaugh, there was not Gorsuch, but Roberts and Amy Coney Barrett joining the liberals. All right, that's the good part of the vote. The other part of the vote, the citizenship clause, which Roberts used to, going against the Dred Scott decision to prove that, yeah, we need to uphold what the Constitution says. The citizenship clause was upheld by 5-4 vote. That makes this an inner split decision that makes you wonder. This court isn't nearly as, on this issue, as open and liberal as you would think. 6-3, no, it was 5-4 on the citizenship clause, which means, and Kavanaugh laid it out, here's a way to fight this. And Alito, came up with instances in his dissent that pointed out ways in which, maybe this birthright citizenship isn't a good thing if you're born here and a citizen, but spend most of your time in a foreign country because your mother, may live there primarily, and then you get inculcated and brainwashed, and then what happens? All these hypotheticals, are they real? Well, they're hypotheticals. I mean, you deal with it when as it happens, but no. Alito and the others, Thomas, want to set this fear up that, you have birthright citizenship, and that's bad for America. It's not. It is America. So I'm saying the way to change the law is you get an amendment, right? You propose an amendment, you have debate, you have people vote, and if you get enough votes, you get the constitutional amendment in there. And I think this is just the beginning of more problems coming up. It's more problems coming up. It's going to happen because just like all the reversals from affirmative action to abortion, the politics never, it swings back and forth. And as soon as someone gets the upper hand, they will go hard at it and try to reverse this. So it's not a comfortable win, really, but it does affirm the Wong Kim Ark decision of 1898, which affirmed the 14th Amendment and birthright citizenship. We can breathe a little freer as we go forth toward our 250th birthday. But you look at the 5-4 vote on the citizenship clause, and it's hanging by really by a thread, and it's not really a good look for American democracy as we move toward the 4th. So that's my take. I'm going to bring up Daniel Phil Gonzalez, my friend of the show. He's also a lawyer. He also knows this stuff, and he has some opinions on birthright citizenship. Hi, Dan. Welcome to the Emil Amok's Takeout again. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. Yeah. So, quite a day, quite a week, actually, in terms of all of the decisions.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have to apologize for my background. Something freaky is going on.
Hey, no problem. You look psychedelic. I like it. But tell me, what did you think when you heard about the birthright citizenship decision? In some ways, it's not surprising, but you look deeper into it and you see how they split the vote on the citizenship clause.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe we should worry a little bit.
Yes, we should still be worried. Okay. First of all, 5-4.
5-4 on
a lot of people thought this was going to be 7-2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But,
some people who are really dreaming were thinking that it should be if people actually obeyed the law and stare decisis, precedent, it should be 9-zip. There's no way, right? But so I thought 6-3. and it came up 5-4, which is very telling, especially when you look at the 4 dissents, including the Kavanaugh dissent. Okay?
Yeah.
The dissents were not based on legal precedent. They were not based on legal concepts. They were based on how the freaking justices felt personally and individually. Okay?
Right. And also on Kavanaugh's point, it was like, well, here's how we can change it. It's like,
Yeah, that's right.
here's
right.
what you could do. And
Congress,
so he was saying,
Congress.
yeah, it's all political. I mean, that's the thing. That's why I split it up. There's like 2 ways they voted on this. One on does the executive have the power? No, he doesn't. That was 6-3 on that side. But then it was 5-4 on the citizenship clause. And as I mentioned on Dred Scott, it brings up how everyone has been othered historically in America. And also it brings up the fact that the 14th Amendment citizenship clause was to make sure that we know we screwed up by saying that black people could never be citizens, and we wanted to make that good because, this is the politics of the day, though. So,
well, some people were saying, oh well, look at the intention. The intention was to make sure that former slaves now had citizenship status, access to citizenship. Okay, but it was just by an accident of their verbiage that everybody else potentially could become citizens.
Yeah. Right.
So,
yeah, I mean,
so this points you in the direction not only of their thinking, but they're also, as you suggest, right, giving Congress a path.
Yeah. This is the path to undo this thing. Here's the legal path. And if the justices stay politically in the same lineup, it's almost like this is the way we'll pass it. This is the needle, the eye of the needle that we're willing to go through to make this a kind of state that we're proud of, an undemocratic America.
Okay, they're trying to say that all of the racist stuff that they believe in is constructively political.
Yeah,
it is only political, and it only has to do with partisanship. Okay, but certain kinds of partisan practices are permissible under the Constitution because they're not based on race. Okay, that's where they're at.
Yeah.
Okay, and there are people in our own communities, and I'm talking not only as a Filipino American, but I'm talking about an Asian American, right? I'm talking about a person of color, right? Who believe that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, they still do. They still will not accept the fact that there is a substantial element in the population of American society, unfortunately, the white population of American society, that do not want us here.
Right.
They do not want us here. If we are here, we should have limited access to the resources that are presented by the society and by the nation, and we should understand that that's our role.
Right.
That we are inferiors in this context. Okay.
It is almost a pathway to the rebirth of white supremacy.
Yes, it is. It is, and people are now using the term, which I've been using for about 20 years. Okay, this is how do they put it? This is Jim Crow 2.
Jim Crow 2.
Volume 2.
Yeah.
I have been using a Jim Crow caricature on my website and in my class, and I've been doing it for what? And the question underneath, the caption underneath the caricature is, why is this crow multicolored? Multicolored.
Okay? Because they see it.
Because the crow was not just black.
Right.
The crow is multicolored.
This is the kind of multiculturalism that the right is satisfied with. Multicultural racism. That's what we need. We don't need multicultural literature or education. We need multicultural racism. We hate everyone.
The society's already gone too far because we know what sashimi is.
Yeah.
And we eat burritos and tacos almost every freaking day. Yeah. You know,
well, wait a minute.
there's a cultural element now in white society. And it's called Taco Tuesday.
Yeah, but
right? You know,
yeah, but wait a minute. You know, we also
that's
have
too far. They've gone too far.
but we also have Taco Bell. You know, taking this. You know, reversing a little bit. You know, we have the white version of the Hispanic.
Well,
we have Panda Express.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
We have Jollibee.
But look who goes. I think I have said before, when the Taco Bell, and this was a freestanding Taco Bell. It wasn't a joint, right?
Yeah.
A Mickey D Taco Bell. It was a freestanding Taco Bell, opening in the Mission District. Not exactly in the heart of the Mission, right? But close enough. It was around 29th or 30th Street on Mission Street. Okay.
Yeah.
And so I said, okay, when it opened up, I said, I got to drive by and see who's in there. And it was 90% Latino or Mexican.
Oh, see.
You know, it was Latino. You know, it was because the kids like Mickey D's, right? And it's cheap.
We want cheap Americanized versions of our ancestral foods. Yeah. I mean, look, I think the same thing when I go into a Jollibee. Well, Jollibee's Filipino, but you know, American taste.
It's can,
you know, kind of. Hey, all right. So, getting back to birthright. So we're happy now that at least that it's upheld. It's upheld.
Yes,
but
in immediate terms. It's upheld.
But
see. Go ahead.
Yeah, but we're still not safe. We're still. I mean, it's not over. The war continues.
This guy's the guy, right, that is doing all the vanity projects is in for another 2 1/3 years.
Yeah.
Okay, that's number one. That's number one concern. So they're going to keep doing executive orders. They're just going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
And if you take a look at the decisions of late, the Supreme Court has been giving way to at least partially fulfilling the demands for extension and expansion of powers. They've been doing it. Well, not only that, how about the slaughter case?
Oh yeah. Okay. I mean, that was yesterday's case or the day before where they gave Trump or a president the ability to fire all the heads of these agencies that are kind of that should be independent but aren't. But here's the thing that no one's talking about that I think is important, because it really shows where the balance is between the consumers and the corporates. And regulation is there to make sure there's a balance so that consumers are protected. But now I have been regulated by the SEC, the CFTC, the FCC in broadcasting. You know, I've been under the regulatory purview of those groups, and you know, so I know what it's like when, you know, that's why I don't say the F word as much on these things, because I'm trained not to say the F word, you know, and anywhere I don't say the F word, but you know, as soon as you start firing and as soon as you start weaponizing these agencies, oh man, you know, the consumer is no longer protected and the corporates are, it's green light to do pollute, green light to do anything you want.
I think you need to embellish on the notion of weaponization. It is a specific kind of application of the power of those agencies, right? To actually reduce the constitutional rights of the general public and to attack specific kinds of expression, particularly if we look at it as First Amendment stuff, which you were doing, you know, for the most part, and also expressions by members of those bodies themselves. So that is what they've given power to. Okay, if you get out of line and you say something that's inconsistent with, guess what, right? Project 2025. If you say things that are inconsistent with that, you know, even though they haven't completely come to pass as yet, you're going to get fired.
Right.
Okay. I mean, you're going to get fired.
And this is all about the executive power or enhancing executive power. He already has executive immunity. from these guys,
That's
from
right.
the courts.
So
So he can pretty much do anything he wants, really. So how upset would he be after today's birthright citizenship decision? I mean,
there's a one of the Latin phrases that gets used in like first year law school:
Mhm.
"Sine lege nulla crimen." Without law, there's no crime, and that's exactly what is the case, right?
Mm.
With what the Supreme Court has done, they have just made it explicit that Trump can do virtually anything as long as he's doing it under the penumbra, right,
Mhm.
of presidential action,
Right.
governmental action. Then it's permissible,
Yeah.
and there's no punishment, no matter how adversely it may affect either individuals within the society,
Mhm.
groups within the society, and even whole populations
Right.
within the
Yeah,
society.
and it's getting kind of ridiculous because in the old days, when journalists especially would go after people who were corrupt or putting out things, to no contract bids or accepting no contract bids or accepting, these kind of corrupt crony kind of slush fund type of deals. Uh,
Sending family members out to make deals with
Yeah.
foreign countries.
Yeah, I mean, now it's like we have set the new standard and it is low.
That's the standard.
Yeah,
That is the standard.
standard is the standard
Well,
of no
see, my
standard.
question is, does the American public get it?
I don't
Okay,
think I
I
don't
have,
think
you know,
I don't think they can't. I don't think they do. But here's what I think they do get. I think they do get the fact that they aren't really pro democracy. The American public is not for democracy. The American public, with Donald Trump as the model, is for themselves. As hey,
Yes.
if it's good for me, it's
Yes.
good for I'm down with it.
Well,
And if it's
and
good
then
for
you've
Donnie,
got you've
it's
got
good
the
for me.
MAGA, the remaining MAGA still believe that what he does is good for them.
Yeah, and
Okay.
and that's
These
why
people.
that's the sad reality that as we approach the
Yes.
250th birthday, most Americans
Yes.
are not really for democracy. They don't
They're-
care
well,
for democracy.
And it's reflected in the fact that they're expressing kind of a regional or even a local sense
Yeah.
of the history of the United States, the 250th. People aren't feeling it on a national level.
Yeah.
And the reason is in the White House.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
Major reason.
Yeah. If it affects me, it's good. If it doesn't affect me, who cares? And that's why I think the United States is becoming more and more Filipino. That's the bad thing. Because here's the thing. No, I mean this is the truth. Because we the Philippines has
Wait a minute, man.
the Philippines
It's only a
has-
minority.
wait.
It's a large minority of Filipinos, right, that went MAGA,
wait,
right, 3 times.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, but
Mm,
that was an indication, right? The
Yeah.
fact that they went MAGA 3 times, like 37%,
Yeah.
right, went MAGA 3 times,
Mhm.
right? And then actually after the first term, they the number of Filipinos who voted for Trump, right,
Yeah.
increased.
Yeah. Well,
It increased.
like I said,
You know?
that's because if it's good for me, it's that's good. I don't need it to be good.
Yeah, but it wasn't good for them. It's not good
Oh,
for them.
well, that's the thing.
Okay?
They're fooled to vote for the guy against their own self-interest. But they believe that ultimately everything will work out. I mean, this is the thing about democracy. It's not pretty when you figure out
well,
how it works out. And in the Philippines, this is why I pointed out in my column in the Inquirer.net how wonderful it is that only the Philippines in the world has sent a former leader before the Hague in the International Criminal Court. There's Duterte, in front of the Hague. And did Israel send Netanyahu? No. Did Putin get sent by? No. And the United States has its criminal, who's president, CFDT 34, convicted felon Donald Trump, 34 counts. I mean, this is how we're shaping democracy now on the 250th birthday. We show how little respect we have for a real democracy, the democracy that we were supposed to be the standard bearers. So this is where we are.
Well, you know that two of our former students from SF State, of course, one was paralyzed for life, right?
Oh yeah.
He's still recovering, and the other one was assassinated.
Hmm.
But they say that it was only because he was too proximate to some terrorists,
Mhm.
right? And but I'm still angry over that,
Yeah.
and so that shows what the condition of the Philippines is. But you know what? A lot of people who go back and forth to the Philippines quite regularly, sometimes twice a year,
Yeah.
but a lot of them every 2 years or so.
Yeah.
Okay, they keep saying, "Oh yeah, but if you haven't been back lately, it's really nice now. It's more modern, right, and all
Yeah.
that." And I could see that coming. The last time we were there was like 20 years ago,
Yeah.
20,
Yeah.
25, 26 years. But I stay in contact. You could get on satellite, you can watch TV, you can do all that stuff. You could get TFC, check that out. So you kind of know what's going on. But that's the way they measure
Yeah.
progress in the Philippines. Is it's modernized.
Well,
That's it.
well, because people know what it was like before that, and that's good enough. It's good enough for them. But it's got to be something more, and that's why I joke about America becoming like it's the Philippines, but in some respects, we're not being as hard ass about some of these democratic values or democracy values that we should hold dear. And
Well, yeah, and it's blatant. It's plain,
Yeah.
plain and obvious. It's patent, as lawyers like to say. Oops, lost you. Hello, where art thou? Buddy up, man. I can't see you. I'm okay. I can see me. Hello? Hello? Emil. Woo-hoo. Calling all Emils. Hello.
All right, here we go. So sorry about that. We got disconnect. All right, in the time remaining, Dan, I want to talk about that other decision, the trans girls in girls sports, because I think this goes to what we were saying, very anti-democratic, anti-democracy. It others trans girls, and they are girls, and there was a very simple solution to this because the number of girls who have an issue with this is very small. I mean, parents, the kind who argue at, kids' little league games and kids' soccer games, they made this a federal case. But why are they so protective of the girls versus the trans girls when girls are girls? What they should have is say, all right, don't be protective, have open competition. If your girl's not good enough to play in the best, among the best girls, and go to the rec league. I mean, that was a very simple way to do it. But instead, politicians love to other people. They love to label people. They love to make this their cultural thing. And so we have the trans decision, the anti-trans girl decision today, which says it's okay to other trans girls each state. And that, I guess, is the pattern. Each state will be allowed to discriminate. Each state will be allowed to be anti-trans. And if you are marching on Sunday for Pride, think about that. Think about your America now. So what was your reaction to the trans decision?
Well, it was, first of all, it was predictable.
Yeah.
But where you have to look, okay, for where a lot of judges, a lot of justices are even at the appellate level, are going to be situated, right, is take a look at Jackson's statements, okay? Because she agreed in part, right? She supported in part the majority decision.
Right. I think most of them did.
Yeah,
I mean, they agreed with Title IX.
Well, that's what you have to look at. Yeah.
They agreed with
That's
Title
what you have to
IX
look at.
and letting girls be girls. But then they were almost, they allowed the discrimination of trans girls. And look, this separates liberals too. I mean, Gavin Newsom is pretty much on the, hey, trans girls shouldn't compete with other girls. But these are girls.
I don't know that he's come out and said that. I think he left it alone pretty much, and he said it's about fairness.
Yeah.
You got to there has to be a standard applied. He didn't imply what that standard should be.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think yeah, I tend to agree with him.
I mean,
I think
so is there, meaning there's a fairer way to discriminate against trans girls, and this is it? Let all the states decide? I mean, I think that they could have had a better way to solve a problem that's really a micro problem, considering the number of trans girls.
Once again, the argument that you're bringing up was being used by Barrett. She said the population is so small. This is a non-concern, which I think is really crazy, right?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter what the size of the population is. What is at stake is what about their freedoms, number one, and number two, what about their safety? Or maybe I should put that the other way around: their safety and their freedoms. Okay.
Yes.
Because this decision is enabling to people who not only are going to openly hate, right, on transgender people, and particularly people who made the transition from male to female. They'll be mean. They're going to actively and aggressively, right, pursue and persecute and prosecute people. That's what they're going to do. They've enabled that.
This is the official othering of trans people, and that's why it's wrong. Yeah, that's why it's wrong. And I don't mean to make it sound like it was, it's a micro minority, so it's not important. I mean, it's a micro minority.
I'm saying that they were using that argument. I know that. Yeah. I know you're not intending that. Okay.
Yeah. No, but I'm saying that you could say that it's so small that yes, there's a way to deal with this without making it something that explodes in our face. And I think now it does, because we're saying it's okay to discriminate. It's okay to,
That's right.
This is gonna, the wave of violence. Who knows? Let's hope not. But all right. So some other cases. I mean, this is the final day, and I can't say that I'm very happy with the way of the court. So I guess the next question is.
Oh, gee, Emil.
Yeah. The next question is, how do we blow up the court? Do we say we better add, more people?
When are you going to be able to do that? In order to be able to do that, you're going to have all three groups, right? Besides the court itself. Okay. Yeah. So you're going to have the presidency and both houses of Congress in order to move that forward. Okay.
So and
so that's not going to happen. Okay, for the next 2 years.
Even more motivation for people to vote. People never used to be motivated to vote, but now they're motivated to vote. If you want things to happen, this is how you get it. So this is unfortunately an awareness that people are coming to when they start seeing things go the other way.
Well, I would like you, please, because you've had contact with the Bidens in your historic past, I would like you to ask Joe how he feels about expanding the court now, because if you'll recall, he was asked directly about supporting a move to expand the court when they in fact had, for the first 2 years of his administration, a shot, right? They had a shot.
Hey,
and he said, no, that's not a great idea. I'm not in favor of that.
People,
okay, you idiot.
They have these traditions and they hold on to these things. I don't know. But you're right. I mean, people.
Yeah, all you got to do is show them the rule book. Yeah. Just show them the rule book, and they'll come around, right? Yeah. You idiot.
Yeah. Well, look, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that now going forward, we have people who must be motivated to vote.
Expand the court. My position is very clear. Expand the freaking court.
Yeah. All right.
And at the same time, attack Alito.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
And
Alito.
Thomas.
Alito. And let's not forget Thomas. Let's not forget Thomas.
They're corrupt.
Yeah.
They're corrupt. They're politically right, motivated.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to be on the bench, man.
They made the court
look
political.
At the dissents in these cases, right?
Yeah.
Look at the dissent in the Barbara case.
Yeah. They made it all political.
They shouldn't be on the bench.
All right. Because we're gonna keep this short, I want to talk about one thing that I think yesterday, the World Cup is upon us. We're in the group of 32, and I know you're, okay with the World Cup, but I swear the World Cup is still more interesting than watching the San Francisco Giants or the Golden State Valkyries. and the Valkyries are
Well,
may even be better than the Giants.
That's really easy.
Yeah, but
That's really easy.
I want to say that penalty kicks is the way to decide a game. A lot of people say, "Oh, it's so boring."
Oh man,
it's
that
boring.
happened.
It's
We had at least 2 1-zip.
Yeah. Well, we had two games yesterday. They were all penalty kicks, and it got rid of the Germans, got rid of the Netherlands.
You got 1-zip and a 2-1. Yeah.
Yeah, I say the penalty kick is it's the existential moment, right? And you could take it from the perspective of the goalie, but take it from the perspective of the kicker, who is now failing more and more. I mean, the kickers are failing, not the goal. The goalie. I think the goalie, the Netherlands goalie, missed the ball or blocked the ball and then allowed it to go through, and that was bad for the Netherlands. But I think the existential moment for the kicker is what we're seeing now, with so many kickers missing, just kicking too high or kicking wide. And this is the way that soccer games should be decided, even though it sounds like, oh, they played 90 minutes. Shouldn't they play another 60 minutes? No. Yeah, because these guys aren't machines. Just let them get the game down to the micro level, which is 1-on-1. What they could do is
That's one of the things I like about it.
Yeah,
that's one of the things I like about soccer.
Yeah, 1-on-1. Okay. When I played as a kid,
and when you're watching people really battling, midfield for control of the ball, that stuff is really interesting, man.
Oh yeah,
watching people go for it, and watching to see whether or not they get arm or hand contact. Yeah. It's really good. It's intricate, but it's fast.
So if people don't like the goalie sitting at the goal and the kicker, standing apart and trying to get the goal, then they should have the roving 1-on-1 and the best of 3 1-on-1 from midfield. Take it from midfield.
That would be exciting. I really enjoy that.
Yeah, because that's the way we settled it at Dolores Park. We take, we'd set up our goals. You put your sweatshirt and your sweater on to create 2 goals, and then you have the ball, and you don't play goal, you play defense, and you let the other guy from like 20 yards out try to go score a goal, either from 20 yards out or he beats you 1-on-1. That might be more exciting than the simple stationary. Goalie, kicker.
Yeah, that's right.
So anyway, I just want to throw that in there.
No, that kind of action is really cool about it. I really like that.
All right, so Dan, I unfortunately.
Oh, tomorrow's the big day.
Yeah,
U.S.
the big game.
Santa Clara.
So look, let's talk again before July 4th. I've got to rush out to do something now. But I appreciate your view on birthright. Appreciate your view on the trans decision, or the anti-trans girl decision. And I guess we'll hear Trump bummed out by birthright, but I'm sure we'll hear the term transmutilization from Trump a number of times today. He'll mention that anti-transmutilization, or I don't know, that's his go-to, because he knows he can punch that button and it riles up people. That's his hot button. He can't talk about anything else. Anyway,
I think the Democrats are probably going to let it lie. Don't forget Slaughter. Slaughter is the big. I mean, it's an easy one to remember.
Oh yeah. Well, that gives him the power, and if you want regulation, we need regulation.
It's horrible.
We need regulation.
It's horrible. It's not just about regulation. I mean, look at what's happening to the military. Right?
Oh yeah.
Because of one thing, it's Hegseth's choosing that's going on. That Trump doesn't have anything to do with those kind of decisions. Yeah. Miller would have more to do with Hegseth's behavior than Trump. Okay.
Well, and this.
Now, remember when I said that's the guy you got to watch out for, and then we said, well, his position is, he's supposed to be just the second fiddle.
Yeah.
Right. to the chief of staff. And I said, that's just his official position.
Yeah.
The reality is he's Trump's brain.
Yeah.
That's the guy.
Yeah. Trump is hands off on all this. We know that. It's sad because this is the state of American democracy at 250, and it's not so great. All right, Dan.
This is the state of American culture. This is the state of American culture overall. That's the problem.
No, you're right. And culture precedes politics. Yep, you're right. What can I say?
All right,
All right.
You got to reflect on it from that perspective, always. Got to understand it that way.
All right.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Are you welcome? There he goes. Daniel Phil Gonzalez, my friend, College of Ethnic Studies, Asian American Studies, Professor Emeritus, San Francisco State University. He knows. He's also a lawyer. He knows. He knows these things. Me, I just try to blather intelligently, but he knows these things. All right. I got to run. We're keeping this short. Check out my column on Substack, Emil Amok's Takeout, Substack, Inquirer.net, also Assam News, and other Oakland Post. That Dred Scott decision. If you are African American, you think, oh, well, what's this have to do with it? A lot. The 14th Amendment was used, all the clauses on citizenship were used to bury Dred Scott. Dred Scott, which is the worst decision passed by SCOTUS back in the 19th century. And that's why they had to uphold birthright citizenship. They used the burying of Dred Scott, and they used the upholding of Wong Kim-ark, a San Franciscan from Chinatown in 1898 who wanted to come back from a vacation, and they made him go all the way to the Supreme Court. It's been upheld since 1898. Thank goodness for that. All right, so reason to be excited, but as we pointed out earlier, this fight isn't going to go away. Reasons to be a little concerned. All right, Emil Guillermo here. Got to run. I leave you with a little meditation because love makes the world go round, and a little loving kindness is helpful. And so as I wish for me, I wish for you. Yeah. And see, I got my Wu-Tang Clan t-shirt here. I wish for you. May you be safe. May you be happy. May you be healthy. And may you live with ease. It's always about the ease. Hey, I'm going to be in Winnipeg in July. If you're in Winnipeg, check it out. Winnipeg Fringe Festival, July, I think 16th it is. I know, I'm going to be there in July through the 26th at an art gallery there. I'll get the more details as we get closer to the date. But if you happen to be in Winnipeg, I'll be there performing my show, and then I'll bring it back here to America. All right, that's it for me. Until next time, Mahal Kita.